Hi everyone! By now I'm guessing you've all seen or heard T-Bone's contest of champions, which is like going through most of the legendary heroes in the game and seeing who would win in a comparison of A versus B, and the winner goes on to the next round, and so on and so forth until we end up at the semifinals, the finals, and select the top legendary hero of the game. If you haven't heard of this, then definitely go check it out on T-Bone's channel. There's a couple of videos there. They're great fun. So do that. And the intention is, as I understand, to do it for other rarities of heroes. So as a collab between the different content creators in the game, I'm going to be nominating my top my top 10 yellow rares to enter in the contest, and a couple of the other content creators will also nominate from a different color. So let's get into it. I'm very much hoping that someone within yellow will win. So no, actually I didn't have anyone from the Far East faction, sorry. Just gonna go through them in the factions in reverse order. The first one I'm going to nominate is going to be Mensus. I actually really love this hero. He's one of the few rares that the moment I read his card, I thought, I'm going to get him. I'm going to ascend him to 6 stars. And the reason for this is, if you look at his special ability, he actually inflicts status block on all enemies. And he's the only hero to do that other than Brody, who's obviously a legendary hero and much more difficult to obtain. So this guy, he deals damage to all enemies based on his HP. He actually removes 1 positive status. And this is really important. It's very hard to actually find a Dispel hero at the rare level. Most of them are actually yellow, and I'll mention another one in just a second. But this is really cool that he actually removes 1 positive status and then inflicts status block. You can compare it to someone like Zarya, who's the yellow epic, and she's actually much worse because she doesn't have 100% chance to inflict status block, and she doesn't do remove 1 status. Let's try to find her now. Where are you? Slav. There you go. So Zarya does burn, snare, and status block, but there's no actual dispel. So, you know, if you're coming up against spell shield or immunity, then Mensus is going to be your best bet, and that's very useful because in rare wars there's a lot of spell shield action going on. But I've actually used Mensus in epic wars, in legendary wars before I had Brody. He's, in my view, a really great hero, and you can do really cool stuff with him because he also does damage. You can use the Rottern set, which gives a heal block. You can use the this is a great time to have a brain fart. The stun set days. And you can also use bandit set with him because you can take advantage of the accuracy that you're going to be building. His passive is okay. You don't always get the purple enemies, but it can be cool. So I've actually not tried this against kind of like more high level in arena. I have tried him in kind of low-ish level arena. He did really great. I know that he can work really well in events as well. Rares can do surprisingly well in events. So I think he is a fantastic hero for PvP, also PvE. Yeah, still one of my favorite heroes to use. I use him almost every war. So my next nomination is another stripper. Oh, I forgot to mention, I have a theory that they come up with the names of these heroes by just mashing one syllable of random words together. So I guess Mensus would be like amazing bus. Well, I don't know about where the B went, but you know, so like you would get you would take one syllable from each word. Maybe amazing using, whatever. Like cause these names are really weird, you know. I can only imagine they take a dictionary or something, and they open it at a page, they select two words and just mash them together. So the next one is Allroad. And I guess Allroad will be terrible rudder, but somehow terrible with a UL. And he is another hero that removes statuses from all enemies. Again, there's very few that can actually do this at rare. You won't find another one who's not in yellow. And what I really like about him, he's unique in the sense that he removes one stasis and he also does decrease defense. So in a way, he is a mini Julong, or Julong is a maxi him because he actually came before Julong. And Julong is one of the best heroes. Obviously, this terrible rudder doesn't have any kind of intrinsic mana reduction ability. But if you've ever used Julong, you know how cool it is to be able to dispel and put defense down on everyone. I used Allroad in the last PvE event. Can't remember the name, one of those surprise ones. I used him in every level. He worked against every single faction, including the level 20 with all of the astral heroes. He was great. So I really like him. Really good abilities, works very well in PvE. I also use him for war as a fast hero. He's excellent. So this is very cool. So if he manages to inflict a negative status on someone, he'll get 6 mana for it. And with a additional mana gain of 2, so that's going up to 25, he'll actually charge up again very quickly. Again, fantastic hero all around. I think he's really nice. I think when I saw his card for the first time, I was actually a little bit annoyed because I had just built my first hero who could remove statuses at rare level. And I was just about to ascend them to 6 stars. And I was like, oh my god, there's a new hero who's so much better. And I know I'm going to get him to 6 stars, but I just have to start all over again. The process of getting a 3-star into 550, which just takes a bit of time. But I've never regretted ascending him. I use him all the time as well. So our next nomination is going to be Bavric. Let's see. It's very hard to come up with what's a word that has Bav in it. Maybe this is where my system breaks down. Oh man. It's It's very hard. Like Bavarian rickets or something. Okay, well, I tried. So this one, he's quite famous. He's well known as a hitter, and he can hit pretty hard. 42% of his HP and his max HP, and ignores some defense as well. Very nice. The mana gain increase is pretty cool. The resistance, I'm not sure anyone cares about at this point. It's not a very useful stat in my opinion. But he can hit very hard. He's got his HP awakening, I can see from here. And that's all there is to say. He hits very hard, and he uses the metric system. You see 300 kilo force. That's always a very good sign. I advise all of you Americans out there to also educate yourself and be an advocate of the metric system. It is the system of the educated and informed. That's my opinion, but it is the correct opinion. So yeah, I think he gets bonus points for being an advocate of the metric system. So next we go to Bergvid. And I chose Bergvid. Yes, I know this one. This one is Iceberg Video. Iceberg Video was chosen because he gives taunt, and taunt is a very glamorous buff at the rare level. That's all I'm going to say. Taunt and reflect, and he has some mana gain increase, some resistance increase. He has HP awakening as well. That's all I'm going to say. Taunt. And who else do I have here? I have Garud. I'm nominating Garud because she is a reviver. Most of you will probably have seen her in war by this point. So she resurrects an ally with some HP and gives them spell shield at the same time, which is one of the more handy things to be resurrected with. And something. It's a lot of text. So if she has 100 mana at the start of her turn, she'll give spell shield to someone. But mostly people are using her because she's a reviver. Double revive or double resurrect is meta at the moment in war, so she'll be paired with one of her sisters or someone who's not her sister, and also a reviver. And those kinds of teams usually do great. And actually, what is she doing? She's holding a drinking horn, I guess, which is smoking, but it kind of looks like she's gonna club someone with that drinking horn. But my problem is, why wouldn't you club them with then the pointy end instead of... Would you rather... Maybe she's very vicious. She wants to kill them with a blunt instrument with a bit of metal. Flaming metal instead of the bony point. I don't know. She looks like she has a lot of rage. Anyway. Maybe she tore this off like Viggo's head. You never know. And who else? Durzel. Durzel is durable. I can only think of asshole, but with a Z, like some very, I guess, some real show off asshole. So yes, that's him. So he actually is built a little, or he's designed a little bit like Emmett, who we'll also mention in a second, because he does a little bit of damage, not a little bit of damage, a moderate bit of damage based on defense. Ketra, who's a very famous hitter, does around 400 of defense at her max ability, and he does 320, so it's a fair bit less. But he also inflicts provoke, and what I really like about him is he actually has a chance to provoke it on 2 different enemies, which makes it a little bit more like a taunt. And as I said earlier, taunt is a very good status to have at rare level. And I really like his passive ability as well. That increase of defense to all allies is going to benefit himself and anyone else who might have an ability based on defense. So for example, Ketra, as I just mentioned, also hits on defense. If she was on the same team as him, they could actually have a very good synergy together. And he also has a little bit of a passive mana gain increase. So, very durable. I'm not sure if he's an asshole. Maybe he is to the opposing team. Now, next, we are going to talk about Irma. Irma is a... I can think of urine for the first word, but I'm not sure about muck. Maybe this is your chance to leave a comment. What 2 words make up Irma? Because I'm stuck. I'm stuck about Irma. I'm out of luck. Maybe you can help me with a word that ends with muck. That's a very bad poem, I know. So he's again a hitter, semi-famous also because he's a bit of an older hero. He inflicts decreased defense before he hits, which is really nice. And his hit let's talk before you think. Think before you talk, rather. His percentage hit actually doesn't suffer from having the decreased defense before. So the 36% of max HP is a very respectable percentage. And that means he actually does a lot more damage than heroes who, for example, just hit on the 36% of the HP. Because he gets that benefit from the defense down. I also really like his passive ability, so he'll have a chance to restore 20% HP if a negative status is inflicted, i.e. that decreased defense. So solid hitter, the decreased defense is really cool. I like him a lot. Let's move on to the next person. This is all kind of standard heroes. So we're going to look at Emmett, who is similar to Durzel. Emmett is, let's see, emasculated metropolitan. And so he does some damage to the enemy, very similar percentage as Durzel, around 300%, and then he gains taunt and reflect, which actually makes him a superior hero, funnily enough, even though he's an older hero. And his passive ability is actually fantastic as well, so he'll have a chance to gain mana at the start of his turn. That's a lot of mana. And he'll have an increase of mana gain as well. So, very nice hero. Now we're moving to one of the most used heroes for me, Drachos, Dragon Hospital. So, you guys probably have seen him in several areas of the game by now. He resurrects an ally, but that's not the most interesting part. The most interesting part is he'll actually gain 50 mana when an ally is killed. He is best friends with his brother, Stanko, who gives everyone 50 mana when he is killed. So if you bring Stanko and Drachos together, Drachos will gain 100 mana when Stanko is killed, which means he can then resurrect Stanko immediately. This is a combination that works so well in so many places. I probably use this for 3 out of 5 raid bosses at this point. Red, green, and blue. Because this is basically a mana pump mechanism that directs mana to all of the other allies, and it's very effective. I think it's been used in some what do you call them, like those tournament events that you battle against a boss hero. That's been used before. I think it's viable in like battle events as well, maybe also Inferno. I'm not sure, I haven't tried the latest iteration of Inferno. You could use Drachos very successfully in wars as well. So he's one of the really cool revivers in that he can get the mana back really quickly. He'll pair well with anyone that what's her name, Garud, would pair well with. So another color of reviver. But yeah, I think Drachos has the potential to go all the way because I actually use him almost every single day, and he is so accessible, so easy to tome up. I think you can get one of his brothers from one of the campaign levels. Yeah, it's really easy to equip as well. You can just make him tanky and then he'll survive. And yeah, I think he is the all-in-one, you know. Maybe you think someone like Inula deserves to win, or I don't know, like Brig or Rhonda or Ketra as the best rare, but you know, if you really ask people who is a hero that you use every day, I think, okay, well, you might use Brig for farming, but I think Drachos has a real shot at winning this thing because he's so versatile. You can use him in PvP and PvE. He is fantastic. If I ever accidentally fed him, I would make a new one immediately. And there's not a lot of heroes that I would say that about. So he is maybe my favorite for the people that I'm entering, and certainly I think he's one that is very well known and that people really like as well. If you don't use him today, start using him right now. Stop watching this video and make one and use him. But like, comment, and subscribe before you stop watching this video. That would be appreciated. Now the next person is also quite famous for her abilities. And this person is Tulipa. So I think Tulipa is the Italian word for tulip. And well, I could say that I know someone who quit the game because he wasn't able to pull her. I don't know if that's a recommendation. But so she's very well known for giving mana to all allies. 15 mana, that's a lot. Before the days of Celeste, I think only Sigil could give 15 mana, and Sigil can give 30 mana if she goes off twice. But this is a really big... Awad I think can also give 15 to all allies. But Tulipa has a better synergy with Bruxa, who didn't make it to today's shortlist. But Bruxa is also another very good hero. Tulipa, for me, just edges it over Bruxa because of her passive ability, which is she restores 75 mana to all allies when killed. And actually, this dynamic was so strong that it had to be nerfed to once per turn. The secret, which most people don't know, is you can actually do Tulipa plus Drachos in the same way that you do Stanko plus Drachos. And if you don't have someone who needs the increased attack buff from Drachos, then you can use Tulipa. You'll actually gain a little bit more mana when she dies. And you are not reliant on a boss to target purple. So Tulipa Drachos, for example, will work against a purple hero. So you could feasibly use this against the purple raid boss, but also any other hero that might target a yellow hero, because Tulipa should be weaker than Drachos, then she will get targeted and she will die, giving everyone mana. If she survives, she can fire her special and give people mana as well. So I think she's a great hero. She's a favorite for some with the raid bosses for this reason. I personally use the Drachos combination, but I just realized that she has very long fingers, like huge hands. Oh my god. Maybe it's like she needs long fingers to pick her ears, because she's got very long ears. Anyway, but yeah, I know she's a favorite for a lot of people, so that's why she's in this list. And we are going to number 10. I want to do a surprise nomination for Orion. With a name like that, he should be an Astro hero, really, but let's not pick on the game for consistency. So, why did I pick Orion? Let's read his special ability. At the max level, he deals damage to all enemies and inflicts sleep on all enemies for 2 turns. So I think this is one hero who can compete with Inula. And I know Inula does a little bit of a longer sleep. I think she does 3 turns of sleep. But because he deals damage to all enemies, it means you can put funky sets on him, like the Rotten set for heal block, the Day set for stun. These kinds of sets only activate when you do damage with your special. I can't talk. Oh, I forgot to do the naming game for Tulipa. Well, maybe you can also comment what your thing would be for Tulipa. It doesn't really work so well if you have 3 syllables, I guess. Orion would be let's see. Helicopter onion, like the end of helicopter. I don't know why it's not with a T then, but let's ignore that. Helicopter onion. Okay, let's get back to business. So you can use funky sets with him, just like you can with Mensus. You can put the stun set, I think, is a particularly good combination with sleep, because sometimes the disadvantage with sleep is you want to target them with tiles, and then the sleep kind of goes away because you've then damage them, the stun can be a really good answer to that. The heal block set is also really cool because one of the disadvantages of using Inula is that you must use the green dragon, otherwise you wake everyone up. So this is a chance to actually put heal block first before you put sleep. That's really cool that you can do that in one hero and then keep using your green dragon for the heal. I think most people forgot that he exists, never bothered to look at him twice, me included, until like last week, basically. And then I realized that I actually really want to ascend this hero. I haven't got all of these heroes at 6 stars, but Orion was one where I read his card and I said to myself, I'm definitely going to ascend him in the next Wise Man. And he gets a little bit of increased attack in his passive as well, which I personally wouldn't build him as an attacking hero. I'd build him as a support hero. So the passive is less relevant, but can always be good for the tile damage. I know that with Orion, you can see that he has resistance awakening. It's not so useful for him. But I think that his special ability with the sleep and the potential to pair with a special set is really awesome. And it's like Inula plus. So I'm going to be ascending him very soon. And I'm actually really looking forward to using him. So there we go. We had Mensus, Allroad, Bergvid, Garud, Durzel, Irma, Emmett, Drachos, Tulipa, Orion. And as a courtesy to you, I thought it would be fun to show some of them in action. Well, I mean, I'm just going to do it in Inferno and do a battle. It's obviously not going to show the full extent of usefulness of these heroes, but seeing as I don't have all of them at 660, I have some of them at almost 550. I thought it would be fun. At least you can see what their special looks like. It's the least I could do. So here we have Tulipa, Garud, Allroad, and I actually don't have like a super weak Tulipa. I had plans for her, so that's why you see. So this is, you see Allroad firing. Actually, these heroes somehow have really high resistance, like 140, much higher than you would normally see in like a PvP. But let's take it off manual for a second. So he managed to land decreased defense to everyone just now. If they had a buff, he could have removed it as well. You just saw a couple of things. Tulipa dead, and she gave everyone mana, and Turid was able to resurrect her again. Next two is not very interesting. Gisela and Alexander. They're just here to win the battle. So I know that having the taunt kind of defeats the purpose of Tulipa a little bit. So let's take it off auto for a second there. What's really nice about this defense down as well is it can amplify your tile damage by quite a lot. And that's useful if you're playing purely with support heroes. Sometimes that can happen with war. So now you're kind of seeing the advantages of Tulipa when she's alive. She can give people mana. I really don't understand how targeting works. So let's see. So I don't need to fire Allroad because there's already defense down and no buffs. There we go. Everyone will get mana for sure. And this will finish him. So again, this is not really representative of their full capabilities, but it's just a little bit of a test drive for these heroes. I don't have all of them at 660, so that's why it's a little bit of a minimalist affair. And I think I wanted to use Maverick for this one. So we can put this back on auto for a second. So there you see the status block on everyone. So once again, landing the status block. I actually haven't put any funky sets on my Mensus. I've just made him fast. Mainly because if I put funky sets on him, I would be sacrificing a lot of speed. And he's so useful, I actually wanted to use him all the way to legendary level in war. And actually in war, the advantage that Mensus has over Brody is he can go up against blue teams, which can be quite common. I don't think Drachos has a chance to do his thing in this battle at all because Alexander is such a boss. Let's maybe take this off auto then. Let's just give him a chance to fire once. Kill someone, please. No? What do you do for your special? Oh, nothing. Well, that's disappointing. It's a waste of time. I'm just going to kill them now. Okay, but you know what Drachos does. He revives. Okay, so for our next demo, we are going to go to Hell mode because I am not so good with using 550s at Inferno. So we used all of our 660s. Now we're going to use Emmett, Orion, and oh, I can only choose a couple. So I can use Durzel, and the next one will be Bergvid and Irma, and I can try to use Drachos again if I really need to. Clear. let's use some other options. So I have taunt, sleep, hit with provoke. It's kind of not really aligned, but never mind. And then let's do sip and vegum for no particular reason. We don't really need a leader ability for this. And my intention in using sip is he can revive anyone if they die. At least for this one. You see, this is really cool. I wish I had been able to target the stun in time, but never mind. It's not a perfect demo because the hell enemies are a bit too weak. But it's okay. So there you see Emmett putting the taunt. You already saw Orion with the sleep. That worked really well. I had the stun set with him. Now Sip's gonna bring them back. Well, let's see if I can get Durzel to do something. So he can hit and put provoke. And if there were more than one enemy, he could have put provoke on 2 people. All right, and then next one, we can use the people that we didn't use. So Irma and Bergvid. Oops. And Drachos as well, since he didn't get to revive anyone last time. We can use Vegum. We don't need Sip because we have Drachos, and let's see. We could use Ketra. Doesn't really matter. So it's kind of glaringly obvious which heroes are at 660 and which are at 550. The ones at 550 don't do very much. Okay, so now you see Drachos reviving someone. He actually gets to revive another person, lucky him. Hopefully now the boss will kill someone again and you'll see. No. You would have seen Drachos gain mana if that had happened. So there you go. You've seen now my 10 nominated heroes. You've seen them in action. What more could you ask for? So, you know, I hope this gives a little bit of a flavor into the heroes that I've chosen and why. I'll be rooting for them definitely in the tournament, and really excited to see what other heroes make the contest. Follow the latest tournament on T-Bone's channel as well, and blah 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 blah, something 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 outro. Thank you for watching as always, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.